La 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 la. Alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. 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 Hi guys. How are you? Yeah, I'm a little fucked up today, but that's all right. You know, I'm always a little fucked up. That kind of language is why this is not made for kids. Although most kids I know have a better vocabulary of foul words. Anyhow, how are you? And they do it in two or three different languages. Um, First off, I would like to discuss. I finally found some monumental event that happened the year I was born. I've been looking for something to, really celebrate the year I was born. I mean, I'm 80 years old, So what happened 80 years ago that was like really spectacular and absolutely wonderful and very good for the country and the world and everything else? The bikini made its first appearance in Paris, France. Now I have to tell you, there are other, there are various versions of the bikini. I think they think the thong is a bikini too. I don't know, but some of the thongs I've seen, you might as well not wear anything at all. It doesn't hide anything. And if you got any hair in your butt crack or your pubic areas, you're gonna be embarrassed as hell. Let me tell you, I was in. I just speaking of that, I was down on Seaside one year. A bunch of my friends. I think we were at Ortley Beach. I'm not sure. Might have been Ortley. No, this was later on in the day. So we were down at Seaside. We went to a tavern to have a cocktail and something to eat. Although we never usually got to the eating part. Uh, you know how that works. Anyhow, we're sitting there and checking out all these beautiful girls that are walking around. Beautiful girls, women. They're just gorgeous. I mean, this is the summertime. This is when women wear less, and you can get this. What you see is probably what you're going to get. Because they don't hide too much down the Jersey Shore. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like an Italian invasion. It's Seaside's an Italian beach, but I couldn't believe what I was looking at, and I nudged a couple of my friends, and they just went, "This girl, 25 maybe, good figure on her. I think was walking by, and she's got hair hanging out of her bikini." And I'm like, that's disgusting. And she was Italian, not old school Italian, because old school Italian would not have gone outside with a bikini on. This was Italian girl. And she actually turned around and winked at my table, and I just went, bleh, like that. She just turned around real fast. I said that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Now, not every girl has to wear a bikini. Not every girl has to shave. Okay? But if you're going to wear the bikini, you got to shave. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see pubic hair hanging out of a bathing suit. And that's what it was. So that pretty much ruined our lunch. Did not affect the cocktail hour, though. All right, but I have a real love for the bikini. I'm not big on thongs, but string bikinis are my go-to when I want to be in the beach and get myself arrested. All right, so we had a phone call made last night, but by you know who, the fat fuck, interfering into the. I don't know, it's supposedly done Sunday. Well, today's Monday, so yeah, last night. Trump called up the president and, his good buddy, that is kicking back to him so that the World Cup's in the United States, or somebody's kicking back to somebody. But anyhow, it's been fairly good tournament. I thought Cape Verde was the best game that I've ever seen. Some people are saying that Mexico England was last night. I didn't get to watch that. I watched Norway beat Brazil, and I like that. But that Norway's a white team, man. I don't know how they play in the sun. Whew, that's it. Those boys are white, white. And anyhow, Trump makes the phone call, and I'm going to belong on the U.S. High scorer that was suspended for today's game with Belgium is now all of a sudden playing, which I don't think is going to help the U.S. at all, because they've been training and installing another package into their offense to play without him, and now they're going to be playing with him. So I think it's going to cause some confusion and what have you. And I don't think it's going to be a very competitive game. But you never know. Anyhow, I understood what the penalty was, a penalty and everything else, and that's those that they told us that those are the rules. You can't do it. You can't appeal it. So but Trump took the phone and makes a phone call. Next thing you know, Balugan or whatever his name is, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I'm sorry, but I don't really know how it's pronounced. Is back in the game again, and that's just creating all kinds of problems for FIFA, because they're now being told that they're now being looked at as being interfered politically. And I said, of course it's going to be. Do you think that schmuck, that fat piece of crap, could sit there all day long and not get into the whole tournament and not get involved? He has to be involved. He has to have his name in the paper. There has to be controversy around him and chaos. Now, that's distracting from something else he's probably doing. He's been asked, one of his friends, supposedly childhood friends, says that he should declare an emergency and cancel the midterm elections. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to do that, and I'm pretty sure, besides the Constitution, it's going to piss off a lot of people. People that are trying to use the system to get rid of him. And they're not being able, if they're not allowed to do that, I think you're going to see some serious problems. I really do. I don't see this going well for the United States, but, Trump is Trump, and that's the shit that he pulls off, That took care of that little story. Well, the basis of that story is he has no idea what the sport's about. Now, he can watch a game and he doesn't understand it. I guarantee you, he can't stay awake through a 10 minutes of the game. I can't, most times, There are exceptions. Like I said, the Cape Verde game was, and apparently from what I'm reading, I should have watched the Mexico-England game, because it's considered to be the best game of the tournament so far. But I didn't get to watch it. I didn't think it would be competitive. You know me. But anyhow, Brazil's out of the tournament now because of their loss to Norway. So that's a big surprise. So that apparently leaves France as the premier favorite, I guess you'd say, to win the whole thing, because they won it last year. They play rough too. They're not a nice bunch of guys, I don't think. They seem to play very rough, and their superstar is probably one of the rougher players. And he thinks the superstar status protects him, and probably does. I mean, when you have teams like that and you have a superstar on it, it's like Messi. Messi gets protected all the time by the officials, by his players, by everybody. Because having him on the field means you've got people in the seats. I mean, people love to watch this guy. I happen to like this guy. He appears to be a nice guy. Ronaldo at times appears to be a prick, but Messi appears to be to be a decent kind of guy most of the time. So I like him. I'm not like I've said, I'm not a big, they call it football, we call it soccer. I'm not a big fan. That most of the time you watch, especially if you watch it down here in Colombia, there's not an honest. I don't think there's ever been a completely honest game that I've watched. They're just they're actors and actresses, and it's just disgusting sometimes. Some of the stuff that they get away with, and it's not. It's just not the same as. When I used to watch it in the United States, I used to watch English soccer on Saturday mornings because I loved the intensity that was there, the intensity in the crowd, the intensity in the players. It was club soccer, but it was real a football. It was really really good, and I really really enjoyed that. But when I started going to games down here a couple of times and whatnot, I just got bored. I had trouble staying awake. First of all, the stadium seating for the local clubs is not made for somebody my size. Okay, it is made for a kid. It would be made for American children, not a 6'2", 200-pound American. Nah, ain't gonna work. So anyhow, that was my story for the weekend. But Trump doesn't understand the game, and I don't know why he's getting involved in it. This is all he's involved in everything, and everything's a scam wherever he touches. I'm reading articles. He's got a brain lesion. He's got this. I still don't know. I think this guy is just the biggest actor, chaotic distraction that we've ever seen. And the only thing that's saving this country at this point is that the Republicans aren't smart enough to truly take advantage of this moron. If they were smart enough to truly take advantage of him, there'd be no election. There'd be armies marching down the street doing the goose stuff, and you'd have these big friggin' political rallies. But Trump can't talk at political rallies anymore because he has an attention deficit disorder. He wanders all over the place, and he says that's a great thing. That's really good. That keeps the people interested. Nah, it makes us want to turn the channel and go to sleep. That's what it does. At least if you have half a brain. And and I watch the people in the background at his rallies and whatnot. Those seats that sit right behind him. And I see a lot of the same people at every rally. So I think he ships them in, or whoever ships them in, and they have this blank stare in their eyes, and that's pathetic because they're not paying attention. They're just not smart. They're just like that, That's stupid. That's Donald Trump and his minions. All right. Now, this I didn't even know that the National Guard was deployed in Tennessee. See, this is where I don't get a lot of news. That I don't get a lot of the stories that are out there. But apparently they were, and they shot a man, killed him. Shooting animals and shooting men and whatnot. When you see something bad or something that upsets you, you don't want to do it anymore. I was a hunter for a long time. I killed a rabbit in my friend's backyard, and that was the last time I fired a weapon at an animal. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I still have trouble about it. I still get all upset and tied knots inside when I tell the story and I think about it. It was just, to me, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I have no trouble shooting at targets. I love guns. I have no problem shooting at human targets. I could never shoot an animal. But take that to a National Guardsman that never expects to be in war, and they shoot somebody, and why? If he's only shot once, it was an accident. It could have the guy had to overreact. If he got shot 20 times, he was shooting at the guard. They all opened fire on him. But no, just one guardsman shooting one guy. That's just something not right there. You have to have been in firefight situations. You have to have been in present in a gunfight or something, which I was, and I don't like that, but I was not a participant, just a witness. Two guys getting their heads blown off, so that's not something you want to deal with too much. All right, listen up. I pretty much destroyed everybody. You know, just remember one thing. Yesterday was the 80th anniversary of the bikini. It should have been a national holiday, really, you know? Oh, I should have been on the beach yesterday. What am I going to do? At my age, it wouldn't have done any good anyhow. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hit the subscribe button. You know, I have to finish a lot of projects. That's why I'm not doing the morning video. Plus, I get up very, very late, and Lucy sleeps late, and we get out late. And, you know, that's got to change. I'm going to try to change it starting tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Because the U.S. game's tonight, and I'll probably stay up to watch that. Anyhow, everybody have a great day. Don't hurt anybody. Don't throw anything at anybody. You know, don't. And I'll see you guys in the morning tomorrow. Have a great one.